My name is Chardee Sessoms. This is my life, my story.
So, Miss Chardee Sessoms, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
All right, I want to thank you for coming in. Um, First off, I want to say I'm sorry that we had to meet under these circumstances, but this is something that we need to get due to try to get some information. Um, so, I want to start off. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay. Um, how was your childhood?
My childhood was pretty good. I had both parents in my life. The entire 33 years I grew up. Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty cool. Pretty normal. Uh, okay. Was it a close knit family? Did you have like siblings? You have any siblings?
Yes, I have two brothers and two sisters.
Okay, all y'all pretty close and
Yes,
still talking and everything. Okay.
daily.
Okay. So at some point, as you got older, you started to have children. How many children do you have?
I have three kids.
Okay, and what are the names?
Quez Fleming, Xavier Sessoms, and Major Sessoms.
Okay. Now your son Jaquez, and you like to call him Quez, right?
Yes, Quez.
I want to go into him, today. How was he as a small child, like growing up? What was? Can you describe his personality?
He had a good personality. He was one of the kids that liked a lot of attention. He was like one of the first kids, grandkids of my mom that grew up in the house. So all the attention was basically on him, with both sides, on his dad's side and his on my side.
Okay. So he had it made for a while, and
Yeah,
maybe he was a little spoiled for a little bit.
very spoiled.
Nothing wrong with that. Was he into sports?
Yes, he played football, starting at the age of 5. Started out in the neighborhood. And
Okay, okay. How were you and Quay's personal relationship?
it was tight. I had him when I was 16, so very young. He taught me a lot of things in life. Like I grew up independent at an early age. I got my first job, and it was just me and him at first. So I got all the strength from him, learned a lot,
Mm.
and
And
yeah.
what about his relationship with his brothers?
They both look up to him. My 2-year-old, every day he go in there and mess with him. He play fight, chase him around the house. It's just like a daily thing. Same with the other middle child. They both play. They play video games and stuff,
Okay.
and watch movies and stuff.
Now, from what's the age difference between your oldest and the middle child?
5 years.
About five. So you had a little bit of time, just you and him for a couple of years. You
Yes,
have any funny stories just between you and him?
I have plenty stories. Let's see. I don't know, like as him being older now, it's just like every day he'll come in there in my room messing with me, just getting on my nerves, calling me by my real name. He know what to say to get me mad, just like Sade, Sade. I'm like, boy, you don't get out my face. And it's just,
That's that mother son relationship, I
yeah.
swear. Um, Now, as he got older to go into middle school, was he a popular kid? Did he have a lot of friends?
Yeah, he always had a lot of friends. He got more popular middle school, between middle school and high school. Well, basically, when he started playing football for the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 5, he gained more friends outside of the neighborhood. So it was like he connected with a lot of boys.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's real good. Okay. Did he work?
Yeah, he was working at Dairy Queen here in Wilson, North Carolina,
Okay.
part time.
Okay. Now, did what grade was he in?
He was in 11th.
So, did he mention to you any plans after high school that he wanted to do?
Yeah, he loved football, so that was his main key. He kind of started slacking a little, like with his work. Kind of got off track with his grades and stuff, but he started improving. He wanted to be in the NFL. He
Okay.
was a running back.
Okay. Okay. Now, that brings us to the day of December the 16th, 2022, which is only a month and a half or so. Uh, how old was he at that time?
He was 16.
16 years old. So uh, this is a kid who grew up with his family, had brothers and sisters. I mean, with brothers that love him, mom that love him, dad that love him. Uh, and he's 16 at this time. He had plans after high school, right?
Yes.
So tell me, so I was going to how that day started actually.
I had got up. He usually get up and do his work online. He was doing online work, so he had got up to do some work online. I work from home, so I was on the computer in the room doing my work. So went to go pick my middle son up from his bus stop. And then when I got off by about 5 o'clock, I got dressed and stuff for the day. He was around playing with the kids, his brothers in the house, just joking around. Then he came in my room messing with me when I was getting dressed, trying to rap in my face, like singing songs and stuff. And I was telling him, move out the way, go on, let me get dressed. So he was still playing around with his brothers and stuff. So I had left the house. He kept begging me about some Jordans that came out. I think it was the Cherry 13s, I believe. It was the red and white shoes that came out. He was bugging me and his dad about getting those shoes. So I got paid. His dad ended up bringing him some money over so he
Okay.
could order the shoes. And he was asking me, he was like, Mom, can you order these shoes for me? I'm going to give you the money that my dad gave me. He just really wanted them shoes. He had ordered outfits and everything to go with the shoes. He had ended up ordering the shoes that had came in. It was a little too late for him, but they came in.
So this was, I'm just stopping for a second. This was just a normal regular day. You know, things are going good. He's playing with his brothers. Y'all laughing, joking with each other. Uh, uh, you know, like you said, he wanted some shoes, and so he contacted his dad. And so this is a normal day that's going on, and you know, so okay, continue on.
Yeah, he had went to the barbershop, got him a fresh haircut just for the weekend. I
Okay,
believe it might have been a little party or something. One of his friends' girlfriend had her birthday or something, so he was planning to go to something that they were going to do. So he had prepared himself. I had left the house and like we exchanged messages and calls afterwards, but I was at my sister's house. I ended up leaving her house about 11 o'clock. Well, I ended up getting home about 11 o'clock that night.
okay,
And usually when I go home, before I go home, I get a text message. He'll ask me, can I bring him something to eat? Because he was like a picky kid. He loved eating from cookout. But he didn't never text me. So I ended up going home. As soon as I got home, one of his friends had messaged me on Facebook and asked me, was he home? Because he usually don't go nowhere but home, the next street over to his friend's house or to the studio. His friends and stuff, they got a music career, so
okay.
they go there. And
So you said his friend had texted you, and he was looking for him.
yeah, seeing that was he home because he said that he had called and text and he didn't respond. I guess none of the other friends heard from him since he had left. He said he had left at 9 o'clock that night and still no response. So about 11 o'clock, his friend had messaged me. I was on my way out the door because my first instinct is like something ain't right because I know he not nowhere, but he only go home and to his friend's house across on the next street. So I got out, got my kids. We got in the car. I rode around on the next street to see if I could see him. I went to the house where his friends were and was just asking them like, "What's going on?" They was like, "I don't know." He had left and supposed to been going home, and nobody ain't never heard from him. So I just, I just was about to lose it. So I ended up calling my sister like, "I don't know what's going on. I just something just don't feel right." So she ended up coming. I ended up calling his dad because he usually go through this little cut to get to the next street. So me and my nephew went through the cut, like just looking, just just in case. But we never seen him. Then other family and friends and start joining us, looking around for him.
So this is maybe around 11:30, 12, something around maybe. And so I'm gonna just backtrack for a second. His friends who he was with earlier, they was looking for him. They was calling him and he wasn't answering, so they reached out to you. And so you get in the car with your kids and you go looking. You get other family members and you're looking on the street or two in a location where you think he may be walking home.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now you guys don't see nothing,
We
anything.
don't see anything.
Okay.
Um, and my sister, she was just, she was like, just call the police, just call the police. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is what I didn't want to think negative, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna call the police because nobody really heard from him. He don't go nowhere but there and there. And like, I was calling his name, was calling his phone, and his phone was really like in somebody's yard. So we ended up finding his phone because his girlfriend had his location, was sharing the location,
Okay.
and she told me where his phone was, and I had knocked on the lady door and asked her like, "Was my son there?" Well, I didn't knock on the door; she was outside because she was like, she heard some shooting, so she was wondering like, she was like, she was wondering what I wanted because I stopped in front of her house and I was like, I'm looking for my son. So she was like, it was some shooting going on. So in that time, I had already called the police and continued looking for him, like calling his name. And then like after minutes of looking for him and the police came, then ambulance. So I was like a couple of streets over still looking for him, calling his name. I just hear like a lot of yelling, like everybody screaming. It's like, no. And I'm like, it was just like, I feel dizzy. But it was like, when I got to the stretch, like when I got up there to see him, they already had him in the stretcher. And I seen, like, I kind of felt like he was gone, but then I felt like, no, oh no, he's still here. So the paramedics, they was trying to get everybody to move out the way so they could get him on the stretcher. And so the police was the one that really found him in the backyard of one of the tenants that's out there.
So they get there and they kind of go and out looking with flashlights and that type of thing, I'm assuming. And they happen to locate him. And at that time, he was shot and laying, on the ground. So they called the paramedics and everything. And so at that time, they're working on him, right?
I don't know what they did when they found him, but like when I got to him, he was already on the stretcher, and I had grabbed on him and was calling his name. They was just trying to push everybody, like all my family and his friends and stuff, his family, everybody gathering around, just trying to, everybody's just going off because of not believing what we were seeing. So they tried to clear, and got him on the stretcher and put him on the ambulance.
Now this is, first off, I'm sorry for that you had to go through that. This is a 16-year-old. I mean, that's a child. This is your first child. I can imagine that would put you in shock or something in the beginning, seeing something like that. Tell me how this affected you right after, and his siblings and his father.
I know it affected all of us. I could speak on myself right now. It's like some days it just feel like it's a nightmare dream, like it's not true, like he's just away and not around. Some days I wake up having hope. Some days I wake up depressed. I go to sleep depressed, crying. It's just like everything surrounding me is all about him. Like I try to do anything to get his story out, to get anybody to say anything. It's just really numb feeling. Like it really messes with your mental too. Like that's a whole 16 years.
Yeah. Now, at this point, and it's February now. Like I said, this happened in December, and as of now, it's still an ongoing investigation, correct?
Yes, it is. Like, what was it, last week? We did a rally, justice, justice for him in front of the courthouse to try to get the word out too. But yes, it is an ongoing. No one has spoke up yet.
So we're you're trying to get information because you want some type of closure, for your child, and for his family. Let me ask you this though: what, in another note, what was your favorite memory of Quez?
Just waking up to see him and his smile, like you could be talking serious when he just starts smiling, grinning. My favorite memory is seeing him on the football field though. Like he was a fast running back. Like everybody just cheer for him, call his name at his games and stuff. Coaches be ready to put him in the game for him to just take off. So my favorite memory is seeing him on the field.
Okay. Now, um, at this particular time, I want to give you the opportunity to say something to anyone who may have any information uh, as far as what they can do, who they need to contact, because I mean, we really need justice for this. This is a 16-year-old child, had a future, had a loving family, and I just want to give you an opportunity to say anything that you want to say to someone, uh, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay. Let me get the number out. I just want to let everyone know, anybody that was out, which I know there was people out in the area during the time that Jaquez Fleming was shot and killed on December the 16th. I just want you guys to come out, come forward to either the family fighting crimes or Wilson Police Department. There is a number that's anonymously that you could contact. There's a reward for up to $15,000 for anyone that has the leading information of the night of December the 16th for Jaquez Fleming. The number that you could dial is 252 406 6736. It could be your parent going through the same thing that I'm going through, and I don't wish that on anybody. The pain that I go through every day and night, battling the loss of Jaquez Fleming. I just really would appreciate if anyone would step up and give any information so our family can have justice and peace.
And I just wanted to say, I want to thank you for coming in. I know this was hard under the circumstances, and hopefully this will help get some type of information for you. But I thank you for coming in and telling your story, and we're gonna try to do anything we can possible to try to get this information out to people so they can give us information or maybe call anonymously to get y'all some information about your son. But thank you for coming in. I must tell you, you're one of the strongest people that I've ever met to be able to come in and do this. Right after this happened a couple months ago. So thank you for coming in, and we'll get this out.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.